Hello and welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jack Tuxby. Tay-Tay's behind the camera. And I'm here with the lovely...
Keith from Allen and Heath. It rhymes, I know.
Yeah, my man. Hey, we've just met. I've been watching your videos all week. And I didn't even know he was coming in. And then to find out that you've got something new is wild. What have you got?
So this is CQ. This is our new, like, super compact, tiny digital mixer, basically, in short.
As I understand from what I've learned from you this week is there are these levels of Allen and Heath.
Yeah.
And first things first, probably, like me as a punter, is like, where does this fit into the Allen and Heath universe?
So in 2015, sorry if I get the dates wrong, but in 2015 we released D-Live. So D-Live is our super flagship high-end touring console, and it uses FPGA technology. So we developed this technology ourselves. FPGA is... again, R&D are probably going to shout at me for some of the things I say. But the simple thing of it is, like, we can do whatever we want with it. So it's a chip that we can do whatever we want. So we then went about and designed a whole console built around this FPGA chip. So it gives us super low latency, gives us all our own processing. We developed our own language for it. Also, just very cool, basically. From that, we then we had Q as well before that, which was using DSP, or is using DSP, and we then developed SQ. So we had D-Live and then we had SQ. And SQ also used FPGA technology. Then we did something in between those. So that's Avantis that sits between D-Live and SQ. So these are all different channel counts, slightly different form factors. And then this is our latest kind of creation, leveraging some of that technology. So this comes in channel count wise, a little bit below Q, but this is a 96K low latency, high tech digital mixer that's tiny, as you can see.
And who are you looking to reach with this mixer? Who do you think it's applicable for?
Well, I think the funny thing is, it'd be really nice if I said, oh, it's just bang, it's just for this. It's really for anybody who needs to do audio stuff. So it does work, and we have kind of got a balance. It does work for bands. It does work in a studio situation or production situation. We were talking about synths and stuff earlier and noise-making equipment. If you've got more than one thing that makes noise, get a mixer, right? So
that's what I was saying to Keith and Taylor. As soon as you get up to a few, especially with stereo keyboards, you can get quite a lot of channel count. And I was thinking, well, we've got the Universal Audio stuff back there. I was like, why aren't we using a mixer? Then I went on the hunt, saw your videos, and realised that these aren't just mixers, they're also sometimes control surfaces and interfaces. And why aren't we bringing this to people's attention? So thank goodness you're here. You were talking about channel count, and it looks like there's a few different models in this CQ release.
Yeah, so there's 3 models in the range. There's the 12T, which is, I like to say, is our cutest one. It is super cute. So that's 10 microline inputs, plus a stereo, or dedicated stereo input. Then you've got 6 independent outputs and the left-right. So you can have 6 aux outs, if you want to talk aux outs or whatever, plus the left-right. So that's the kind of smallest one.
Yeah.
Then bigger than that, but similar form factor, is the 18T. This is the big main one. This one's got everything. So this is 16 microline inputs plus stereo, 6 aux or independent monitor outs again, main, left, right. This one has a bit more control as well. So you've got these soft rotaries, but you can see it's like a similar form factor, just bigger this way. This one also has a secondary headphone out, which is really cool if you're recording, because you could have 2 people hooked up with headphones with independent mixes. And it's got built-in Wi-Fi, so if you're gigging with it, you can wander around with an iPad like I've got here. So you can wander around the venue space, mix from anywhere. And then we got the 20B. So the 20B is like a stage box version of the 18T.
Right.
So that's 16 microline inputs again, and they can be stereoed, and the outputs can be stereoed as well, I should have mentioned. 2 stereo inputs. The last 2 mic inputs on the combi jacks there, those are the DI or high Z, high impedance inputs, so you can plug in acoustic guitar, bass, whatever directly. So it's really designed just to sit on stage. It's XLR outs for all the outputs this time, because it's far more likely you're not using them with stuff on a desktop or with a Snake where you can use converters easily. It's on stage, don't want it to unplug. And then built-in Wi-Fi again, so it's designed to throw and go system. Chug on stage, plug in your speakers, plug in your band, there you go.
Wild. And are they all 19-inch?
So they can all be rack mounted, yeah. They've all got rack kits. So you're saying about different applications. Obviously band stuff, brilliant for that. And the production stuff. I think there's going to be loads of these being used for AV stuff as well. So corporate style things. They've got an AMM built in, automatic mic mixer, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it means that you can rack them all up, have them in your wheelie rack, wheel it out, do your conference or whatever, wheel it back away again. So it is covering lots and lots of bases, just with the focus on being easy to use, sounding great, and we've done some tools as well, which are quite exciting that I want to show you.
Cool, let's get into it, because these, digital mixers, once I've been watching your video, it's wild when you realise the flexibility and freedom you have coming from a guy that, because like I said, I think we've been divided, especially on this channel, we've only ever represented interfaces or mixers and analog ones at that. So to have the flexibility is insane.
Well,
how do you even go explaining about, so we've talked about inputs, outputs. Do we go into matrices and things like that, or how we can send things?
So you can. Sorry, just something that was in my head there when you were saying about the interface stuff. So because it's digital mixer, you're converting everything to digital anyway. So you've got all these analog inputs, and you're converting to digital. So it's already in the digital realm. So then it's a case of, okay, we need to strap on a USB connection, as you got here, or record to SD. So because it's already been converted, you're halfway there. So why not have an interface as well? The cool side of that is that you can then use it, because you can return multi-channel as well. You could be mixing some stuff coming off a computer, some stuff that's live. So you can get this really cool live setup happening if you've got a hybrid setup.
Yeah.
So,
fantastic. Cool. And just whilst we're there, recording-wise, and again, I think that's immediately for people that maybe haven't thought about this before, and we're saying using it as a recorder, there's multiple formats you can record to as well, right?
Yep, so these have all got stereo recording and playback to USB-A, so like a stick or key, or external drive. You've got USB-B, which can either be stereo, which is something that we did that I think is quite cool. So you can either set it up as stereo, if you want to connect up as class compliant, you can connect up an iPad, tablet, or a phone, and you can stream stereo audio straight to it. So if you're streaming, you could just be plugging it into your phone, getting all the audio coming through as a stereo mix, which is cool. Or you can set it up as multi-channel, so you can record all of the inputs individually into your DAW, and you can record those clean or with the processing. So what you could do, which I was saying to you earlier actually, is a great setup, is to be able to use the mixer as a mixer. So you can tweak all the settings, tweak all the parameters, hear exactly what you want to hear in the like take space or live space. But you can be recording just clean straight off the preamps. So that way you can mix everything later. If you want to do crazy things in DAW later, you can do that. But you've then just used this as a monitor mixer. And there's a monitor mix app. So if you've got a band of people, they can all have their own phones with the app connected up to the mixer, doing their own levels, all sorted, everyone's happy. Far quicker, far faster way of working. Then we got SD. Sorry, I got waylaid there a little bit. So SD is multi-channel as well. So you can record and play back multi-channel. I'm playing back some multi-channel off an SD at the moment. And that's handy for virtual sound checks. I don't know if you've ever done those, but...
Yeah. Well, it explain as Taylor's regularly performing in the same place, like House of Worship, right? Yeah. And I imagine that's a great thing to have. Virtual sound check. If you haven't heard about it, check this out.
So you basically get the band to play. You kind of get them set up. You get some gain levels set, and there's a quick way of setting gains, which I also want to show you. But you set all the gains, get them recording in, hit record, and you're recording clean straight off the preamps. You can then play that recording back and just loop it. The band can leave and go off and have a cup of tea or whatever, and you can sit there tweaking stuff and messing with stuff and making sure it's all perfect. Or if you're playing a similar set in different venues, you could show up to the set to the venue early, play back your recording that you've already got, get everything set up for the venue, make sure everything's patched correctly, get all the monitor mixes right, then the band show up and you're ready to go. So it's again much.
This is in a consumer product that. I've only ever seen that on big live touring productions, and that's the whole point, right?
That's the whole point.
It's finally, and the 96k internal sample rate is a big deal for this as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so 96k, it reduces latency, but also the processing, that FPGA that I mentioned, we spent actually years before 2015 developing that, and it's got variable bit rate, bit depth and stuff. So the sample rate is 96k, the bit depth goes up to 96-bit on some of the accumulators, which is ridiculous. But it's all about getting pristine audio at all times. There's other benefits with things like processing. You'll get faster response from certain things, more accurate summing. It's great. And then you can record that as 96k as well, because it's already 96k. So you can record it at 96 or 48k.
Well, they're big headlines. I love the idea of you. Let's show how, and I want to see how to use it. So I've got a mic there.
All right. So first thing, let's try out the gain assistant. So we've got 3 assistants in here, and the whole idea for that was don't take away stuff from people or do things for them completely. Like, so people are still in control of what they're doing, but just like help them, just assist them a bit. So do some of the less sexy stuff, should we say? So setting gain. It's very, very important, but not always,
Is this
much
new?
fun.
Is this a new?
This is around in some other products.
Right.
Yeah. So this is brand new for us, but it does exist in various forms in some other places. But what we've done here is our own version.
Yeah, in Alan and Heath. I've been watching your videos. I'm like, this sounds like a new bit.
Yeah. So we've got mic plugged in here. You can probably see the gain's at 0 at the moment. And if I hit it really hard, sorry, this is your. Oh,
I can be a Debbie.
Carry on.
Debbie McGee.
Debbie McGee. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Paul. Hurry up, Paul.
All right. So I'm just going to hit auto set.
Yeah. Hello, and welcome to Paul Daniels' Magic Show. I've got a new magic set available for Christmas. There we are.
There you go. So it's set for you. It's all happy. It's set the gain, which is great. It's also put on auto gain on. Auto gain works by. In fact, let's do that again. You carry on talking into it.
Debbie McGee. Paul Daniels. So we were just reminiscing about it was the best toy I ever had.
It was a great Christmas.
So what's this doing? And I see it moving itself.
As it's peaking, or as it gets towards peak, so the peak LEDs come on 3 dB before it truly peaks. But as it gets up to the peak there, it's just bringing it back a bit, just backing off the gain a little bit. So that if you're, and this never ever happened in the history of gigs, the guitarist does the sound check. And during the gig...
Lee Anderton.
During the gig, they play slightly louder. Or crank up something. So what that means is that can sit in the background. That can be always on. And that's just running in the background.
Wild.
So auto gain will just sit there in the background. You can have that on all inputs and it will just pull back gain. So you're not distorting stuff. Here's the best bit. I can select all of these.
Oh no.
I switch them all to analog, so they're using the preamp inputs there, and I can set the gain on all of them at once.
No way.
Yeah.
So the whole band are plugged in. Again, I'm thinking of Taylor there. How many people in your band? 12-ish. 12-ish people at the church. They're all plumbed in, and you just swipe your finger across the auto gain, and if they're playing, it sets all of the gain for you.
Yep. And it'll also
monitor it through the performance as well.
So it'll set the gain for all of them, and then it will switch on the auto gain for all of those automatically. You can, if you're like, look, I know how to set gains, leave me alone.
Yeah.
You can. Let's go back out of multi-select set. You could set that gain, and then you could switch that on. So you could just be like, I want to set my gain here, but I do actually, just in case.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to do anything bad. It's only going to be if it's peaking. So you can just leave that on.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
That solves so many problems and it opens it up to so many people who maybe, if in the worst. I understand, like if someone's ill, someone with less experience can now operate the equipment and get it set up. There's loads of implications.
And it's
or
all
a mic droops down, saves your ass on that. That's incredible.
Yeah. So it's all about kind of speed and ease of use. A lot of the
and
new
this screen
stuff.
is belting off a bit, isn't it?
It's
like
very
that.
nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is our input section we can see at the moment. Then we've got sections for output. So the thing to note here, I'd say, is the EQ type. So PEQ and FBA. What's FBA? It's a feedback assistant. So that's the other assistant, which we'll show you in a minute. You've got USB SD settings, Bluetooth. So they've all got Bluetooth connectivity for playback because there's no 3.5mm jacks on anything anymore, I don't think. But yeah, really handy because it means you can just have your phone or whatever and just have your background music running on that. That's got its own dedicated channel as well. Super handy. AMM. So I didn't mention this, but AMM is an automatic mic mixer. And that will gain share. So if I switch that on a few channels, you'll notice those little levels of how much gain it's applying to those channels. Right, now I've got it on your channel here. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hang on. I've got it follow fader, so I just need to, even though you're not a kick, we're going to pretend you're a kick today.
Boom, 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 boom. I'm down with the kids.
That's a good kick sound. So it's giving you all of the gain because that's the only place there's sound.
Yeah.
So if you have this, you could have this across 16 mic inputs at a conference or whatever, and whoever's talking gets the gain, everybody else's gain gets lowered, so you reduce background noise, you clear up everything, which is great for podcasting, for conferences, for recording, for broadcasts. I use it a lot in theatre, actually, theatre use, really good on theatre. Small theatre.
And so do you almost set priority? Is that what you're doing?
Yep, so you can set these little faders are saying how much you're wanting to put that into priority. So if you want to be the chairperson, I'm going to give you all of the priority. And that means that these other ones, they might go, oh yeah, you'd be like, no, shut up, go away, meeting's adjourned.
And Taylor, I was just thinking of Taylor, because I'm trying to basically sell Taylor on this as well. When we're awful at speaking over each other in YouTube land.
Yeah.
So you can give Lee priority, Pete second, and then you third. Yeah, but,
so you're trying to
I
sell
know
him
we're
on
laughing, but that is the reality of things, right? Or like say Joe Rogan podcast, you'd have Joe number one, and then his guest, and then Jamie would be third.
Yeah. So and it will adjust those levels. It can balance them out, but generally it's going to be pushing the one that's prioritised more. Yeah. And it'll follow faders as well. So
important for all the live stuff, live video we're doing.
Yeah. All speech, just any speech application.
So that's a new assistant again.
So that's the gain sharing that you can find in all of our big desks as well, the AMM. Then we've got some control network stuff. So these can be set up. This is the setup for these controls here, and also the built-in network. So the built-in Wi-Fi is dual band, so it can be 2.4 or 5, which is really handy if you've got like, I shouldn't name any brands, but there's a lot of brands using 2.4 gig wireless packs. Naughty. And they basically ruin everybody else's 2.4 gigahertz experience. So yeah, switching to 5 gig will really help in that situation. You can hide the SSID so people aren't trying to, is this the internet? No, it's not. And it's auto channel as well, so it'll find some space in the Wi-Fi environment. Or you can connect up Ethernet. So on the 12T, which doesn't have the built-in Wi-Fi, and the other two, you can connect up an external router if you want. So that's network. Soft rotaries, I'm going to leave smart rotaries on, but I will just mention that you can set these to do whatever you want. And foot switch, it's got a dual foot switch connection, so you can use memory, latch-in, whatever, and have it control things like mute your effects, whatever. Soft keys, let's just set one of these on let's just set it as a tap tempo for now on effects unit 3. Yeah. And then I need to put a delay on effects unit 3. That one, maybe? There we go. So you can have tap tempos, you can have mute set up, you can do whatever you want there. But the smart rotaries, they follow you around, so you'll see those changing as I'm going to different pages. So they're changing what they're doing. So again, speed of use, I've got control over my level. I could just select that one, change the level of that one, change some panning. I could go into a compressor. I can change some stuff there. It's all good.
Yeah. As I understand it, that's the Alan and Heath, everyone, under the comments, when I've been watching videos on the other mixes that have been out before this one, it's just people going, I swear by Alan and Heath, for that same the reason and the development and the team behind it, because you make everything in-house, as I understand. So that is not to be taken for granted how easy that worked, right?
We do everything. So we're based down in Cornwall, down in Penryn, and we've got a big R&D team. For a manufacturer, we've got a big R&D team. So there's 100 people, something. There's like 70 people working in the R&D department. So everything's done in-house, like the FPGA, but then we developed our own language for programming the FPGA, and then all of the processing is all done in-house, which means we've got complete control over everything, and everything works perfectly together, and we're not kind of outsourcing any of that. It does mean that with some stuff it's slower, because we're not just like, oh yeah, we're just buying this thing and buying that thing, and we'll just get a reverb and do that. But it does mean that everything is worthy of our name, if you like.
And can I, on that point, I was so struck and was ignorant to this before, this idea of, and you showed it there when you did the tap tempo, this world of, like I've come from, we had DSP interfaces, like the UAD stuff, things like that. A lot of people are getting, not a lot, but there's a few companies. It seems like you've got plug-in quality plugins. They look like plugins to me. How is that implemented in the CQ?
Oh, I'm going to just take a sip of water.
Yeah, because it's wild. I was like, oh wow.
Okay, so
because we use a lot of that we try using the process in here. But yeah, tell me about this stuff.
This is what I'm going to show you now is one of my favourite things about CQ, and this is quick channels. So what we wanted to do, like I said before, is have something that's really easy to use and really quick to use, and gets you basically to we've all done gigs where you show up and it's like, cool, you got 10 minutes, good luck. Yeah. It's like, okay.
Well, AutoGain gets you started in the first 30 seconds.
AutoGain gets you going. Yeah. These quick channels are the quickest way to dial in a mix. So this is our drums and percussion one. So you just go, cool, drums and percussion, I've got a kick plugged in. And then you've just got this and you go, oh, it's warmer, it's punchy, scoots, done. On. I know, it's good, isn't it? So you can just go, yeah, I want a more attacky kick. I'm going to switch the compressor on, done. Right, snare. In fact, I'll show you how you recall one of those. So on the snare, I can just go, I want the drums and percussion, yep, done, snare. Do you want a compressor? Yeah. Do you want a gate? Why not? Okay, it's going to be soft. There you go, done. So,
like you said, that's not dumbing it down.
No.
Even if you know your stuff, you take that over having to instantiate every processor in that, right? So, and you've got everything covered there. You can get running, and for education, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So when you're here, can you then kind of break it down and see what it's done?
Sorry. That's exactly the next bit I was going to show you. That's why I was like, oh, great. So yeah, you can convert it. So you can convert it back out from one of those, and then you can go in and say, okay.
So you've done that 10-minute setup. You go, oh, what have you got? Kit, go on. Yeah. And then when the gig starts going, you kind of expand it out and then get.
And then you can get in and get in depth. So you can use it that way. You could use them all as quick. So these are all quick, and this one's complete.
Any of it? Will this be in other stuff in the range?
Do you know, this is the first time. It's going to be amazing to see the response to it. It's something we've spent a lot of time on. So we got all the data from huge amounts of presets from like pro engineers. That, what would you do on this kind of sound? What would you do on this snare? What would you do on this guitar? We've got keys in there. We've got wind and brass.
I loved where you could see the EQ curve in the preset, very clear.
So there you go, strings one, why not? So I can do a strings one, make it clear. There's some other ones as well. So these are also quick. If you've seen our Z products, I know you've seen this before. So we've got
a Z10 FX Forever. That's my favourite thing.
There you go, that's your Z EQ.
So I can get my
if you know what you're doing with your Z EQ and you go, that was my setting that I loved on my Z, then this is the same thing. We have put in a comp as well. We snuck in a comp in it. But the high pass filter and the EQ is the same as you'd get on the Z. We did find with the one knob control, it's super powerful, but we thought with your money channels, so like guitar, bass, vocals, you might want a little bit more control. So those are slightly different. So if I jump in on let's go with guitar. So with guitar, you say, all right, I'm going to use a clean guitar. I'm going to use a funk guitar, why not? And if we convert those out, you can see that you've got the EQ going on in the background.
That little convert
I know,
thing.
it's
I
really
want to
good.
try them all out.
But exactly as you say, it's perfect for education stuff as well. So you could have this where it's set up, say in your church, so you've got somebody doing some stuff, and they think, yeah, I'm cool now. I can use the quick channels. Happy with that. Yeah. What about if I want to change the attack on my compressor? Or then you can convert it. You can see what happened. And again, with the you said you like the PEQ graph. Mm-hmm. That is the PEQ graph that you're going to see when you convert it. So it gives you that like recognition of, oh, that's what that sound looks like in terms of EQ.
So this amazing. We're treating the sound going in. Mm-hmm. The next bit in my brain is managing mixes, stuff going out. Mm-hmm. So one of the big things I know wedding bands especially, or in small recording setups is you got 6 outs, you said there, 6 auxes. So either 3 stereo mixes or 6 individual mono mixes. How do we manage those?
So there's 2 ways to look at it, depending on what you're doing at the time. One, which I can see here quickly, is per channel. So for every input channel, you can go onto the send section and you can see where it's going. So you can say, all right, output 2 is this. I mean, let's go in quickly and just name output 1 as Jack, and let's do 4. You're going to be 4, Taylor. How do you spell your name?
T-A-Y-L-E-R.
L-E-R, isn't it? He's a rib.
What? Yeah, that's what I thought. Taylor.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Is it? All right, cool.
Because he's special.
Special. So now I can see, all right, Jack wants some of Tom 3 and Taylor wants a little bit of 2. Great, done. So that's one way of looking from a channel by channel basis. The other way is you can go to the faders page. So there are faders on the product. They're always there. They're just, Right, so I can say everything that's going to Jack. So now I can see that Tom 3 that we sent to you is there. But I could also just send you some snare and some of Tom 1 and let's send you some of Vox 1 as well. Why not?
That's
cool. Done. So that's all the stuff that's going on this way. One's one way, one's the other way. Does it make sense?
Yes, definitely, yeah.
Cool, fine. Then you've got processing on the outputs as well. So every output has got its own either GEQ or PEQ and FBA, feedback assistant, plus compressor, plus a limiter, which is really handy because that means if you've got in-ears and stuff, or especially if you've got like a pack that's maybe getting overdriven, it will start distorting and sounding horrendous. So limit it before it gets there. So GEQ, fairly straightforward. We've all seen GEQ, tweak some frequencies. PEQ, we saw that on the inputs, same thing, bit of tonal control. Feedback assistant. So feedback assistant has got up to 16 filters per output. So there's one of these on every output, and it can be looking at every output at the same time. So you just switch it on, you can have it on all the time. If it detects some feedback frequency, it will notch it out, and it will do a really narrow notch, so it's not destroying the sound at all, it's just getting rid of just that frequency. And you can either apply fixed or live. So fixed filters just sit there. So if you're doing your setup, you ring out your system, wave your mics around, do whatever, you're going to get feedback, it will notch it out, job done. You can then put it in hold, and you're all good. Then you can switch over to live, and live has a recovery option. So that means it will detect stuff. So during the gig, you go up front and you start rocking out with the crowd, you get feedback from your main left, right. It will notch that out, then you go back up on stage. You don't want that to be constantly notched out, so it just recovers. Then if you want to get really tweaky, you can get in here and you can adjust every single filter individually by width, depth, all of them by width. You can do all sorts. It's great, isn't it?
I keep shaking my head because around like 2010, I was going out you know, like wedding banding every weekend,
Yeah.
and I had a stack of Behringer feedback destroyers, you
Right,
know, in
yeah.
there. And the thought of having that, but almost like AI looking after me, looking after everyone's monitors, it's just wild.
So it's looking after your
possible.
inputs.
Yeah.
It's looking after your outputs. So like I was saying, it's assistants that are helping you in the background, but you're still, when you go back to your inputs and stuff, you're still in control of like, okay, I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking here. So it's all the fun stuff.
And if you're the guy in the band who is, say again, I hate to bring it down to, it's not bring it down, all of us are going, it doesn't matter what size gigs you're doing, you're going to do some smaller gigs, maybe where you're doing your own sound. To have that automated is wild. And then, what can we control away from here? So like, that seems like a lot of stuff's being looked after for me. Say I'm turning away from the desk. Like you said, other people, they can be controlling their own mixes, right?
Yep, so you can have 2 of the full control apps. So that is used for the 20B, of course, but it works with all of them. So you have all of this that you see on screen is all available on the app, and that's on iOS, Android,
so they
PC,
get full functionality
and Mac.
on that, yeah.
Yep, so you can do all of the stuff that we're showing now on the app. And then there's also the CQ for You app. So the CQ for You app is just levels. So you get 4 wheels, and they're 4 groups of things. So you could have one of them's drums, one of them's bass and guitar, one of them's vocals, whatever. And you can set those up how you want. You can go in, you can just adjust the levels of what you're hearing. So it'll remote control that stuff that we saw earlier with the sends. And you can have 6 of those alongside. So you can have 2 lots of those running of the full control, and you can have 6 of the others, so 1 for every output, just controlling one mix.
It's a huge money saver. Again, if you've looked into it or you haven't looked into it, often hardware control boxes, however great they are, it's houses worship as well, you know, that you get to the bit where like, how are you controlling our levels? And that's a spenny thing, but you can now just
I mean,
dial it up on your phone.
The ME systems that we've got are fantastic, but yes, they are more of a kind of bigger setup, or
it's a considered. You've got to buy it.
Yeah,
this is all in.
And you can have hundreds of them plugged in, and that's great in an orchestra pit. But if you're going out and doing a show and you just want to whack at your phone and go, I just need to change the level, please, mate. I don't want. I don't need this other box. So yeah, in that situation, it's great. So the other thing I want to show you, if it's all right, because I mentioned it earlier, is the effects. So on the effects, you've got 2 effects units in the 12T, and you've got 4 in the 20B and the 18T here. So you can see those down the side. And they're multi-effects units.
Are they treated as 4 auxiliary sends, or do you attribute them to an aux send?
So you can use them either shared, which is kind of what you're saying there. So it's like an aux send. So it's not taking up any of the auxes that we saw earlier. If I jump back to the processing screen, you've got separate sends to each of those units. So that's the shared mode, or you can insert them. So if you wanted to, let's say you want to use a flanger. Let's use a flanger, and we'll insert it. And we're going to insert it on the rhythm guitar. There you go. So that's now inserted on the rhythm guitar. If I go over and look at the rhythm, you can see it's got a little flanger thing on it.
So I can use 4 of those.
Yep, so you can use 4 in total. Most of the time, you're probably going to want to use them shared. So all delays, reverbs and stuff, it's all going to be shared. And then maybe you have 1 that you want to use for a modulation effect. That's kind of the way a lot of people use it. Or you could use them all as delays, or all as reverbs, or all, do whatever you want. But the effects units we've done are brand new for this product. So this easy verb, again, super easy to use. It's just, there you go, how big is it? So pick a type. Let's go for drum room. Pick a size. Done. And then you've got this magic button over here. I
saw that.
Yeah. So the effects assist is, this is again a brand new thing for this product. We've done lots of new things for this product actually. Effects assist is working in the back end, and it's looking at the frequency and the level of the incoming signal, and then it's making adjustments to it to change things based on what you see here. So this is energy. I'm going to be honest, I don't know exactly what that one does in the background. But it just sounds more energetic. So I don't know exactly if it's doing something.
And if I tap it, are there different
So there's different ones for different things.
Oh, right, I see.
That one says energy at the moment. If I change that to vocal intimate, I get whisper. So it's doing something slightly different there. Yeah. So these are really good fun to play around with, but they're also really useful because again, it's working in the background. If you overload a reverb unit, for example, your mix might end up sounding really muddy because you've thrown too many things into it. So this will help by like ducking things and changing levels and stuff in the background so that it doesn't overwhelm the mix. And you've got stuff like on the delays, for example, you might only want the delays to come in when the person stops singing. So it's like nice and clear, and then they finish at the end of a passage, and you get a little bit of delay coming through. So,
and thinking of it as a recording unit with these two headphones, which I think is very cool. Again, this is if you've watched the channel before, if you haven't, watch some other views to get an idea of the size. This is not big. This is not much bigger than like an Apollo X4. Like it's as a desktop unit, it's insane. Can I record with the effects and without?
So you can record, let's jump into the recording section. So this is playing back off the SD card at the moment, but you can record depending on sample rate. So you can record 16 tracks to SD. You can record all of them actually to USB-B, but you can record 16 to SD at 96, or you can record all of them at 48K. And the first load of those is all of your inputs. So that's, and the choice there is whether or not you're recording, there we go, source point. So you're recording post preamp, so you're recording clean, or you're recording with the processing. So that's your like EQ channel processing stuff. The last ones, in fact, if I stop this, we'll get those options. The last pairs, so there's 3 pairs on the end of the 12T that you can assign here, and 4 on the 20B and the 18T. You can choose what you record. So you can record the effects channels separately if you want to, or you can record a mix separately. So you could send all of those to one of those mixes and record just that mix, or you can record the whole left-right mix.
That's so cool for synth heads because you can record, be as creative as you want with the effects, but then have those separate afterwards. If you had to do those with DI boxes and spread them out and aux sends, it gets really complicated.
Yeah, you'd start having to send things out, send them back in, do things like that. You could just go, no, I just want to record those ones over there and these ones over here. Thanks.
Wild.
Yeah,
and what we got?
Cases, lovely cases. Yeah. So these are we got some accessories. So the racky, as I mentioned earlier, is an optional extra if you want to. These are all metal die cast boxes, so they're fine for carrying around. But if you want to rack them up,
this is a nice touch. This.
Yeah, it's good. So you can rack them up if you want to give them super protection, or if you want to, you could get hold of these cases, which are like custom molded inside cases. So a bit of protection if you're throwing around.
Yeah, will we sell these?
Yeah, you'll have those available. Yeah.
Come on.
So you have those and the racky.
Now I know that I'm very lucky to see these before the world knows about them. When do you reckon this video will be coming out, and will they be available when it comes out?
Yep, everything's going to be available when you see this video.
Cool, and we got all the links below. Click through to see about that. And thank you for all your education on the internet before. Where can people learn more about Alan Heath? Where would you point them? You could go to alan-heath.com, or you can find our YouTube channel with lots of me being very annoying, but hopefully useful. No, not annoying at all. These are such in-depth products, and if you want to go deep dive, I thought they were really helpful and brilliant. And if you're an Alan Heath fan, can you go down to the place in Cornwall? Have you got a showroom down there? Do you let? We don't have a show. It's very. It's a lot of dark rooms where we lock up very clever people. Yeah. No, it's. We are based down there. You can see us. But we got Andertons. So we're only half an hour outside London. I was going to say, come here. It's the best place. Don't unless you're right down there on holiday. Yeah. But this is where it's at. I think you're on to a win here. Thanks, man. Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Taylor, for being here. We're going to talk about things to try and convince him to get one. All right, and thanks so much for watching. Thanks, mate. Thank you.